Explore today's must-have trends and innovative styles at Mrs. B's Clearance and Outlet. Shop one-of-a-kind finds in today's must-have trends. Explore wall-to-wall deals, furniture, flooring, mattresses, home accents, seasonal favorites, and more. Discover unique new home decor, pillows, accessories, and more. There's something perfect for your style and budget. There's new inventory every day at up to 80% off suggested retail. Discover the style and savings of Mrs. B's Clearance and Outlet.
Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other topics, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Welcome to the... What was your funniest audition experience?
Oh, this is good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I'll just go with one. But there was one that was like for an advert, and it was for like a credit card, and like you were supposed to like take your clothes off as if you were going to go swimming, and then hot mermaids were going to kind of like lure you into the water. And then one of them was going to steal your credit card. And I fucked this audition, man. But I was just like, this is ridiculous. And also just like, I don't know, like just something about getting like half naked in an audition anyway. So I think like that is like try to mind like getting turned on by this mermaid while another mermaid is trying to like steal your credit card. Yeah, that sucks, man. I hated that audition. That was a bad one.
All right, AFK squad, strap in and strap on, because today we got a UK powerhouse in the house. He's an actor, writer, voiceover god that has graced some of your favorite video games. Give it up for Christopher York. Hailing from the picturesque town of Scarborough, UK, you know Christopher as Gav in the legendary Final Fantasy XVI, and as one of the many voices that brought the smash hit game Baldur's Gate 3 to life. But that's not all. Christopher also took a bite out of the big screen with a role in Universal Pictures' adaptation of Dracula called The Last Voyage of Demeter. From captivating performances to unforgettable characters, Christopher York is a force to be reckoned with. So get ready for an epic chat with the man behind the magic. Christopher, welcome to the show. Who's your EuroLeague team or Premier League? Sorry,
Tottenham Hotspur. My fiance's is too, but yeah, they're my Premier League team. When I was about like 5 or 6 years old, my best friend from school was a Spurs fan, a Tottenham fan, and I was like, cool, I will be too, and I've stayed loyal with them ever since.
I love that, dude. I just started getting into, so I played football my whole life, growing up, like 18 years, and I never like. Unfortunately, I was just painfully addicted to gaming, which is where all of my time went to, like, you know, outside. Like, I never practiced soccer, you know, football outside, like, you know, unless it was practice, right? You know what I mean? Unless it was like, you know, required to be there. But dude, I also just never watched it, unfortunately. And recently have started watching it so much. And dude, it's electric. I love it. So
have you picked a team?
Yes, I have. I just became you know, I have 2 older brothers, and my middle brother Chris he coaches soccer for his high school women's team, like varsity, freshman, and the boys as well in like the fall. So he's an Arsenal fan. So I was like, you know,
no,
dude,
man. What a bad start to the interview, bro.
I'm sorry, dude.
Oh
no, dude. Listen. I love. Listen. For me, it's not. I don't have this hatred towards any team because, like, you know, I mean, first off, I'm not European, so you know, I'm not bleeding Gunners right now. But dude, I love Tottenham. I love watching them play. I always root for them. I feel like they're usually the underdog, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In a lot of their matches, but they didn't have a horrid year this year, did they?
Oh no, this was a much better year. Under Ange Postecoglou, we believe again. The football's better. It's just it's a better vibe. But North London, which is where I live, it's where I'm based. You are either Arsenal or you're Tottenham. And the rivalry sticks deep. No, it's fine. My brother-in-law's an Arsenal fan. My father-in-law's an Arsenal fan. So we're all good.
So you can coexist. You can coexist. It's possible. Coexist.
But for some people, it is everything. I
get it.
It runs deep in North London. But that being said, if you were going to pick a Premier League team, I think you picked good for next season. Arsenal would be my favourites to win the league. 100%.
Yeah, dude, let's go, dude. I mean, I liked him this year, man, and unfortunately, I think they couldn't close out, which is unfortunate. But you also have Man City, who's just an absolute freaking unit, dude. What are you gonna do?
They're a machine. Like players like Rodri are unplayable. Which is talking about the Euros. So obviously, Rodri plays for Spain. Man, I think he's the best. He's obviously the best CDM in the world, but I think he's probably the best player in the world at the moment. I said it.
Wow.
Rodri should get the Ballon d'Or. That's my call.
Dude, listen, I am a huge fan of statements like that, dude. You know what I mean? And I think that there are so many players. I mean, just think about it, man. Like when everyone still to this day is still talking about Messi and Ronaldo, and it's like, dude, there has to be younger talent right now that is on the precipice and like already kind of there, because they're old, man. I mean, how old is Messi now? Like 34, 35?
Yeah, I mean, he's still kicking ass in the States, right?
He's doing well in Inter Miami, and he also didn't he recently score finally for them in the in one of the Euro games? He finally got his goal, I think. So he still got it.
He's still got it, but I think their days have passed, and I would be surprised if we get. Well, I say this now. You got this 16-year-old kid, Lamine Yamal.
Oh, dude, that goal was unbelievable, dude.
Oh, it's
that goal
painful.
Was unbelievable, dude. I was like, I was at top of the 18, like outside the box, just freaking dinked off the left post.
It's magic, and there's this sad thing, and you might not have it yet, but like I'm 34. Mm-hmm. And I used to play a lot of football, soccer as a kid. I wasn't very good, but really hard working. So I would just cover a lot of grass, right? Yeah. And there's that moment as a 34-year-old and you're watching this 16-year-old kid edge of the box, kind of R1 circle it if you're a FIFA or EA FC player. And you're just like, damn, I'm old enough to be his father. Literally. And also, I'm never going to make it. Well, it's done. I'm done. I can know that I will never be a professional footballer. Dude, it's mad, but maybe he'll be the next Messi. Maybe. He
might, dude. I mean, at 16 doing something like that. I will say, man, Chris, do you like Chris? Is that okay? Or Christopher?
Yeah, Chris is good. I like Chris. Chris.
Okay. My wife hates Jess or like Jessie when her name's Jessica. So I never want to assume. Anyways, I think they say what is it? They say comparison is the thief of happiness or something like that. So I understand this guy's 16. That. It is, dude. It is, and it's something I deal with every day of my life. These last 4 years. So you can't do that. You can't compare yourself to, because I'm 33. I'm right there behind you. And you're sitting here watching the NBA, the NFL, I'm watching these, professional athletes. And dude, the youngest, they get in there at 21 years old. I'm like, dude, that could have been me 8 years. It's nuts. All right. People, they're talking about 30-year-olds being on their way out. And I'm like, dude, I would have retired 3 years ago. What the heck? So I get it, dude. I get it. All right, man.
It just become. Oh, go for it.
No. Listen, I am 100% down to keep talking about this. What are you about to say?
I was just going to say, right, there's this weird thing as a grown-up, as an adult, where your heroes become younger than you. And, I think there's maybe something to embrace about that. I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling, right? I used to watch WWF, WWE. I now watch maybe more All Elite Wrestling, AEW. And it's this kind of thing where it's man, the wrestlers I like now are younger than me. So growing up as a 10-year-old, The Rock was my idol.
Absolutely.
And now it's these dudes in their mid-20s who I'm kind of worshipping at the feet of. And I'm damn, they're younger than me. But I think it's an acceptance thing. You're totally right.
Dude, you have to. But I dude, putting it out there, I mean, you're absolutely right. It is very odd. It's just you pass the baton. It's just what happens, right? In a sense, for me, I mean, let's look at it from my perspective of someone who is I was a professional, video game player, multiple different games, but also like, you know, one of the biggest streamers in the world. And like, I'm 33 years old now. And like, dude, all of these big guys coming up, dude, they're like, you know, some are 18, 19, you know, a couple, like low 20-year-olds. And it's like, you know, and I'm watching them now, right? Like I'm getting a lot of my entertainment when I'm done streaming, like watching these younger guys. And like, yeah, dude, it's just odd, bro. It's odd to be like, yo, man, I'm a big fan. And they're, you know, and you're like, yo, you're this adult, right? Like, you know, like being a fan of, and let's like, it's real here, man, like a kid, right? Like you're not, I don't even think you don't really become an adult, man, until you're like, that's like 25, 26. And even then, dude, like I still to this day makes like stupid little mistakes or say some stupid shit. And I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. Like, and I learned about it the next day. But like looking back, bro, I didn't know anything when I was, you know, in my mid 20s. And, you know, you thought you had it all figured out. So
I have a theory that for people of like our generation and further on, I think nowadays your 20s are for free. I think it's a free decade to fuck up.
Absolutely.
Can I swear, by the way?
Oh, you can absolutely swear, bro. Yeah. 100%.
Sick. Okay, so it's a free decade. Back in like maybe our parents' day and before then, like when you were 20, you probably were getting married, buying a house.
Yeah.
Houses are way unaffordable, cost of living crisis. We are way more picky about our partners, which I think is maybe a good thing. And so your 20s is just space to fuck up, make your mistakes, learn from them. So you're 33 now. In my mind, you're 23 then. But it's fine. You get your free decade.
Dude.
Do you know what I mean? You get your free decade.
Oh my God. You know what, dude? I'm about to start. First thing I'm doing is I'm going to talk to my wife and I'm be like, baby, listen, you're 22. I'm 30. I'm 23. Like, let's go. We just got a free decade. I love that. Cause we killed it, man. We killed our 20s. I mean, I pretty much just fucking grinded streaming for 10 years straight. So my 20s was, there was definitely some partying in there and having some fun and living it up. But like, yeah, dude, I definitely get to, reap the benefits right now of how much work I put in when I was much younger. But I got lucky as well. I found the one very early on, which is, go me. Little self high five there.
Good job. Yeah, man.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Listen, hey, dude.
Go Jessica.
Hell yeah, good for her, dude. She put the work in too, man. Yeah, man. All right, dude. I gotta get this off my chest, dude. So you played, and this is, I recently had a conversation with one of your co-stars. I literally am drawing a massive blank. Andre might be able to help me out here. Who played Benedicta? Right? She was one of the. She was the voice actor.
Yes, Nina.
Yes, Nina, dude. She was unbelievable, absolutely incredible. Let me down a little bit. I didn't tell her that because she's not a gamer. Now, please, Chris, for the love of God, tell me that you played Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, dude, the first thing I did when it came out was buy a PS5. So I was still on my PS4. And the first thing I did when that game came out was buy a PS5 because I wanted to play the game I was in. 1,000%. 1,000%. I played Final Fantasy 16. Do you know what? I really did. I don't play many RPGs, and I really liked it. Like, I was all in, and do you know what? Stuff got emotional, even though I knew everything that happened.
See, dude, and that's how you know it was good, dude. Like, if you know, like, dude, like, it's kind of like when I rewatch like a show, right? If I rewatch a show and I've, obviously seen everything, and I still get emotional, like, I literally am rewatching Suits right now, and I'm like tearing up in a couple of these scenes, and like, dude, that's how you know the writing's good. That's how you know the acting's good. And dude, that is so true. It is, dude, and that's 100% the case here with Final Fantasy 16. So I've played almost every Final Fantasy that's ever come out. And not many, I mean, almost none of them have ever gotten me emotional. Like, some of them have been like some of my favorite games, but like the only ones that ever made me like legitimately tear up was like Final Fantasy 10, and then this one, Final Fantasy 16. Literally at the end, the final fight. I know you played it. I don't know if you beat it. But so spoilers.
Dude, I completed it. I wanted to get to the end. Yeah, look, I didn't play it on hard mode, but I still got to the end.
That's fine. Yeah. Dude, no judgment, man. I'm never gonna look down at somebody for freaking getting through a game just because, whatever. I don't give a shit about that. The ending battle when all of the people who have passed are like being like the voices are coming through in the middle of the fight when you're using, Ramu, and then you're using all this stuff. I was tearing up. I was in the middle of in the final boss fight. I was like crying. I'm like, what the fuck is happening, dude? Just an absolutely incredible game, dude. Walk me through, like, how was the first audition? Like, how'd you get this part? Like, talk to me, dude.
Oh god! So first of all, you're totally right on that. Like kind of end fight, like those kind of just little lines that come up, and we were shown like kind of like raw kind of animated footage of that, like giving them in. But it was like it was emotion. And you talk about the characters that are no longer with us. There's a part of me that like weirdly reminds me of like I've gone from talking about soccer to wrestling, and now I'm going to bring up Shakespeare. But there's a scene in Richard III where like he's haunted by everyone he's essentially killed, and this is like the opposite of that. It's like literally Clive is surrounded by the people he's lost, but even in death they're there from. It's some powerful shit, man. Dude. But first audition. I didn't know what I was auditioning for. It was this thing called Project Hope. So all I knew I was auditioning for. Yeah, seriously, didn't know what it was for. In fact, I didn't even know what the game was until my first scene that I did with Ben Starr. Audition-wise, they tell you it's this thing called Project Hope. You read it and you're kind of like, this has got a kind of like maybe Game of Thronesy vibe to it, something like that, just from reading the sides and the audition scripts. And kind of just like reading through it in that respect. And then you kind of just audition. But the thing for me was I'd never been in a video game before then. Like I'd done theatre, I'd done TV and film and stuff, but I'd never done a video game. And for me, that's the stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like 10-year-old Chris doesn't dream about playing Hamlet. 10-year-old Chris doesn't dream about that kind of stuff. What 10-year-old Chris dreams of is like being a Jedi and being in a video game. Do you know what I mean? It's like me playing Tekken 3 on the PS1 back in the day. I'm like, I want to do this. This is the fun stuff. And so, like, for me, just getting to be in a video game was sick. And then I had this day with Ben where, and it's quite rare for video games that you would, like, have both actors in the room at the same time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think the director, Hannah, and the guys, like Koji, Ollie, and Morgan, who are, like, writing and, like, also contributing to the direction, they were like, no, we want the actors to be in the room in the same time where we can help it. And so me and Ben are there. It's the first time we've ever met each other, doing a couple of scenes. And we're given this break. And this is in the old side offices. The side is like the company that helps produce the audio and like the facial capture and stuff. And we sat down and Ben, and like his voice is as rugged as it sounds. He's like, you know what this is, right? And I'm like, nah, man, I have no idea what this game is. He's like, it's Final Fantasy. And I'm like, no way.
Just an iconic series, dude.
And I'm like, shit the bed. And like, I hadn't played much Final Fantasy, but you better believe I played 7 with my auntie when I was a little boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, oh my God, that's Cloud and that's Tifa. And it's just like, shit, we're going to like, obviously, we're not directly like involved in their world, but been part of that franchise and that legacy. I'm not gonna lie, I wish I hadn't have known for a bit longer because I was still nervous recording. It's the first ever video game, and now it's like shit got real. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if you know Ben, but Ben loves Final Fantasy so fucking much. Oh, that's even cooler.
Yeah.
So like he was like I think his favorite game is Final Fantasy VIII, but he was just going off on one in this break. I'm like, dude, this guy's a nerd and I love it. Do you know what I mean? Because the dude's handsome, the dude's got this rugged voice, he's playing the lead character in this thing, and it's like, but you're a nerd too. Fucking A, man, we're gonna get on. So, like, I'm getting married September 21st. Ben's coming to the wedding.
Man.
Do you know what I mean? Thank you.
Dude.
But, like, Ben's coming to the wedding. Like, David, who plays Barnabas. Like, I've made pals from this because, like, actually, Nina is this just gorgeous human being, but not a nerd. Whereas some of the other cast members, 100% nerds.
Giga nerds.
Absolutely big-time gamer nerds, man. And so, like, it's just really lush. But, yeah, like, that was sort of the audition process. It was just really chill. It was like, it's just this guy from the north who's kind of like a working class background like me, kind of come from like sort of relative poverty, but kind of like uses dark humor to kind of get through his shit. You know, would be a therapist wet dream, and then kind of like helps people despite the fact he has no powers. Do you know what I mean? I think that for me was the big thing with Gav is like, Mandem has nothing. He has no abilities, and yet he's still like willing to put his neck on the line. So like earlier when I said like I played a lot of soccer but I'm bad at it, but I work really hard, I think that's like Gav. he sucks on the football pitch, but my God, he'll bust a gut to like make a last ditch
Oh
tackle.
yeah, man, dude, he's so sneaky, dude. He's the sneaky scout, dude. I always loved that, man. He knew he was always going to come through with the intel in the game, and it was awesome. But dude, that like one of the things that shocked me so much about 16 was like it was like so freaking dark. Like the final, I haven't played it in a year, so like the names of places and stuff are eluding me. But like that, even like that final place at the very end when you go and challenge Barnabas, defeat Odin. Like, dude, that whole continent was just like depressing and dark and like. I mean, I don't even know if Gav was still there for sure. You definitely were still there because I'm pretty sure you were also help scouting. Oh my God, dude.
It's that moment where they find Edda, right, the pregnant woman.
Yeah.
And she's like the one person. And it's that moment when he sees Odin for the first time. He's like, oh, fuck me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like seeing that fucking massive, scary, like dominant, and it's just like shit the bed. And I think, to be honest with you, like, obviously it has that kind of medieval, like, kind of like British, oldie English aesthetic. Yeah. But so much of it, sadly, today is super universal in terms of like war and famine and stuff. You're like, shit, the bed, there's some like really real shit happening here. The main thing for me with the darkness, obviously I knew everything in Gav's timeline, but obviously like at the start, like where... It's just like, oh, cool. Well, Clive's dad's just had his head cut off. That's cool. Let's just carry on. And it's like, oh, like his little brother might be dead. Oh shit. Okay, that's fine. It's like there's a lot of gory shit happening in that game, and like you're playing, kind of going, okay, cool. I might just like turn the lights on for this next level, just to kind of just get it through.
No, 100%, man. Did you have to do a lot of like? I guess so. You also have done some on-screen acting as well. Like, do you have to get into like character when you're voice acting, or does it kind of just like, do you just kind of like figure it out like when you're in the room and doing the readings? Like, hey, like you know what I mean? Like, does it get better as it goes along, or are you like ready to go like right when you get in there, line one?
Yeah, I think for me, so like my voice is just ever so slightly different to Gav's. There's just a little bit more like kind of crunch and resonance to it. And I've also kind of, it'll be a minor thing for maybe people that aren't from like the UK, but like the accent's just ever so slightly different. I've just kind of pitched it like 2 hours up the road. And in the UK, 2 hours up the road is like an eternity, right? Like it's a weird country, lots of accents. So what they would do for me always, like at the top of a day, would just like play me just kind of stuff I'd done previously, just to sort of get it back in my ear, if that makes sense. The longer I went through, the easier I found it to just kind of like get back into Gav and to get into that mode. I wonder to like what extent, because I went to like a theatre school in the UK, like, so like I officially like probably like classically trained, which sounds way more snobbish than it should. Yeah. But I think like a lot of the work you do is like building character, developing that stuff, and like really making sure it's lived in. I wouldn't be surprised if I got the feedback from like the room that I would probably change my physicality without knowing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I would probably fully try and physically embody Gav in order to kind of like get to that place. Like I'm pretty sure the dude... Actually, every character in Final Fantasy 16 has like the most outrageous pecs. Like everyone's hench. You know what I mean?
Well, you kind of have to be to be the, even remotely be the hero in that situation. You got to be yoked out of your mind.
So I would imagine
huge,
that,
dude.
Yeah, man. Like it's a big unit. So like I think I would probably try and carry myself in the audio booth with a bit more of that like kind of like strength and just
like
physicality.
puff out your chest and
yeah, man. Imagine that I've just benched like 100k and kind of go from there. But obviously as well, like they were doing face capture with us, so they'd rig these massive cameras to our heads.
Yeah.
So like our expressions would kind of match the characters.
So does that have? Okay, I have two questions. But the first one goes off to the motion capture. So when they're doing that, like, do you have to get those facial expressions down, or like to help it out, or like, you know what I mean, to get into it, or like, can they like, let's just say you're only a voice actor, right? And you have and you just suck and can't get the facial expressions down that they need. You know what I mean? Like, is it like 100% like if you don't get these facial expressions down, like they're screwed, or like can they still figure it out if you're not, doing good facial expressions.
I think I would argue it's probably quite hard to get the line right without getting the face right. I know that sounds weird.
No, it doesn't.
But I think they kind of go hand in hand. So I think you'd maybe have to actively suck or be like have some kind of facial dyslexia for that to happen. But I would imagine, and this is something they did do, so they were just always just recording the face with the line, and I think generally speaking they would kind of match up nicely. But there was one session where they would ask you to make like 50 different faces. So all it would be is the guy in the booth would just be like, okay, Chris, close your right eye and then your left eye, and now can you raise your forehead? And you would literally go through like 50 of these tips.
Yeah. So they get it all, right? Like
they
in that
get
little
it all.
moment.
So like I feel like Square Enix, I think Square probably has like my whole face on file somewhere, like if they need to recreate. And I think also Disney has my whole body. So like if anything happened to me, I think we could at least bring me back virtually.
Dude, 100%. We got you. Yeah. We got your face down. We got your whole body. Yeah. We definitely have enough voice that we can go off of. AI will definitely get there.
Scary,
for sure, dude.
But at least in my mind, they only really have Gav. Although we have this now, right, on file. So, hey, AI, take your best shot. See if you can capture this. Scary times. Honestly, dude, the AI thing for voice actors is super scary.
Yeah, I've been doing... So I will say it's not there yet at all. I understand that it definitely like may seem scary, but like as somebody who... I spent my entire life online and like I'm very good... Like, dude, I can spot an AI... like instantly, like an AI voice, like instantly, because the people that pop up on my For You page when I'm watching TikToks, like, you know, like Joe Rogan's AI, like I recognize it immediately. I'm like, this isn't real. This isn't his voice, because I know how he talks. And like I don't think you'll ever be able to get down the cadence, right? Like the soul, if you will, of how a person speaks when they're actually like having a real conversation, you know,
it's like Uncanny Valley, right? You know, like how they had it with those old like films where they kind of like they had it with that Jim Carrey film, and then there was like what was it called, man? But it was all CGI, but there's this Uncanny Valley thing where it looks realistic, but there's something weirdly disturbing, and I think at the moment that's where vocal AI is, right? And maybe you're right, maybe they could just never capture it. I felt it in Mandalorian when you see young Luke Skywalker. I'm just like, you've just taken me out of the scene. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Mandalorian was phenomenal, by the way. I really hope that.
It's perfect Star Wars.
Yeah. Let's hope that they can, you know, not butcher it into the ground somehow, like they did with Acolyte.
AFK with Ninja.
This is a message for anyone with high LDL-C or bad cholesterol who has had or is at risk of having a cardiovascular adverse event. Merck is studying an investigational medication to see whether it may help lower the risk of future cardiovascular adverse events. Cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death worldwide, and in the United States alone, there are over 73 million people living with high LDL-C. To learn about whether you may qualify, visit CoralReefStudies.com now. Again, that is CoralReefStudies.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
What did you think of Acolyte, Ty? What was your take on Acolyte?
I don't personally like watching anything with an agenda ever. I don't mind it, but I don't want it like shoved in my face. And like as a Star Wars fan, like they completely ruined like the beginning of Star Wars, right? Like they hinted that Anakin was born from the Force, right? Because he had to be born from the Force. And then, you know, in the Acolyte, they're just like, boom, here's two twins born from the Force because we can do it. Like, and it like he was the chosen one, and that's why the Force like created him, because he needed to be born. And like, I haven't even watched it. I've just literally seen clips, and it's like it just seems like not good. Personally,
you undermine your lore with stuff like that, right? You make things less important in canon, which I think is a big thing for me. Just
it's
watching
everything. Yeah, canon is everything, right? Like it's without it. You know what I mean? Like Goku, what's Dragon Ball GT is freaking, not canon. Thank God, because it wasn't that great.
Yeah, and I think like with Acolyte, unfortunately, and I think this is sometimes the mistake certain Star Wars has made, it takes itself really seriously. It's really sincere, and I think that misses what Star Wars is. And like,
yeah, dude, it's
Jar Jar
lightsaber
Binks
battles.
is not perfect, but it's lightsaber battles, and it's fun, and it's kind of Star Wars is funny, man. Like Star Wars can be really funny. The Mandalorian, there's a lot of like cutting, sarcastic humor, and I think unfortunately Acolyte's maybe just a bit sincere.
It's too, yeah. I think you're right. It takes itself too seriously. Like, I mean, the amount of it's Gru. It's not Baby Yoda. Gogru.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
I like
you
Baby Yoda.
Get your Baby Yoda. Yeah,
right. I'll take that. But like, dude, you're right. Like, there's something about Mandalorian that almost feels like, dude, it feels like classic Disney, dude. It feels like. Or not even classic Disney. It feels like, in general, I think the best way to get any, like, to pair a good movie or good show is you have a cute character, dude. Like, I like, if you've seen Wish, I don't know if you've seen Wish. It was like
I haven't seen it, no.
Dude, it's actually incredible.
Okay.
It's the Disney's 100-year like movie, right? Their 100th anniversary movie, and there's 100 what's the oh my gosh, there's 100 little cameos, if you will. Cameo, or it's not the right word, but anyways, there's this cute little star, dude. There's this cute little star, and it's the most adorable squishy thing in the world. And like, I feel like the best movies have something like that, and they play off of it, and it can be funny, and it doesn't even have to say anything, by the way. Like, I don't even think the star talks. But it's the same thing with what they did with Baby Yoda, man. Like, The Mandalorian was serious, but dude, the amount of funny, lighthearted, it was almost every episode there was something funny going on with Baby Yoda. You know what I mean? And they played off it so perfectly. And definitely, you're right. The Acolyte is it's super serious, and it's like, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, there's some cool moments, but like moments aren't enough for anything. Like the heart of Star Wars, man, like it's just like this idea of like good versus evil, but like this, like think about like how banter Han Solo is in all those films. The guy is jokes, but you still care for him. He's like fully rounded, developed human characters. And I just hear any kind of sci-fi where it's like, oh wow, so comedy is just not a thing in this universe. Then like, I don't know, I'm just kind of trapped here, right? Even Dune has jokes. Do you know what I mean? Even Dune has some lightheartedness to it.
Yeah,
minimal, but it's still in there.
It's got to be in there. I feel like it always has to be in there. I think that and in every movie, no matter how serious it is, there is always a moment, no matter what. I'm like for okay, maybe not like a documentary. Yeah, there's always room for a little bit of lightheartedness and a joke to, I don't know, make people have fun and not be so dark and serious. Oh, dude, I wanted to ask one last question about FF16, dude. So like, was it weird hearing yourself? Like when or did you like? I know you didn't skip the scenes, but you like, I played it in Japanese. I listened to it in Japanese and I listened to it in English. I did both playthroughs. But did you do like English only, and like, was it just strange? Like, do you ever like listening to yourself? Because I hate the sound of my own voice.
I hate it, man. I despise the sound. I think everyone despises the sound of their own voice, because I think scientifically something happens where it's higher than you think it is. It's higher pitched. But generally, I just don't like the sound of my own voice. I did a couple of like radio dramas here in the UK, never listened to them. Even my first TV jobs, I didn't watch it. I back in 2015, man, this is a funny one. I did like an advert for the Royal Navy. Like, I recorded this advert, like getting people to join the Navy.
Oh wow!
And it was on like Spotify and like podcasts and stuff. And I never heard it, right? But you obviously you got Spotify and you got Spotify Premium. If you've got just normal Spotify, you listen to the adverts. And so I do this advert, and it's been going on for years, and like they just keep reusing it. And my little brother was like, you fucking prick, man. I heard your advert. And I'm like, well, dude, what do you mean, you fucking prick? Like, you should be glad to hear my voice. He's like, nah, man. I brought a girl home and I was putting on like a music playlist to, get busy to. And my advert interrupted him while he was it. Imagine like your older brother comes on the Spotify. You're listening to some smooth R&B. You're getting busy. And then all of a sudden there's me go, hey, Simon, maybe you should join the Navy. What do you think about that, bud?
Hey, listen, dude, God. This is a sign that he needs Spotify Premium, bro. And he needs to shell. You can't be listening to... You got to know there's going to be ads coming up if you don't have Premium, bro. You can't be... Oh, no. That would have turned her off. 100%.
He was a student, man. Like, he didn't have the cash. But come on, you got to do better than that. It's why vinyl is king, man. You got to have a record player. But to answer your question about listening to myself on Final Fantasy, I did watch every cutscene, and also that was beautiful because I was getting to see excellent work. Like, man, and I know he's no longer with us, but the actor who plays Uncle Byron, who passed away, like some of his scenes with Clive, man, their reuniting scene, I fully cried like a baby. Like that kind of play fighting scene that they have in their kind of living quarters, fully cried. But when it was like listening to myself, I was just always picking apart my performance. If something had gone right, like, and I was like listening to it going, oh, do you know what, Chris? That wasn't total shit. Then I was kind of okay with it. Do you know what I mean? But I'm a super competitive person. Like, it can just be like a little game of Catan, or like it can just be like playing...
love Settlers of Catan, by the way.
I'm obsessed with Settlers of Catan, and for me, like, I want to win so badly. It's ugly. Do you know what I mean? I'll be there just like watching that dice roll kind of ugly playing Catan because I just want the win so bad.
I can't stand Catan though, in the sense of like, if someone just sucks or wants to screw you over, it's over, dude.
Yeah, I sort of resent bad gameplay when someone does something dumb, like, oh yeah, sure, I'll give you these 2 ore. And I'm like, no, don't give him the ore, he's about to win.
Yeah, literally. I've had that happen, dude. The amount of times I've played Settlers, I've only played like 5 times, and every time I lose because someone who's in third just doesn't want me to win. And like they'll give away, and like here's the thing too, the worst part is like the trade kind of makes sense for them, right? And it's like you can't just completely just call them out for selling the game and throwing, but like you can. It's just like, this person's been dominating all game. You just gave them the last thing they need. I'm out, dude. Like, I'm out. I can't do it. I can't take it.
And my partner...
Because I get mad. I get mad. Yeah, and then everyone's like, relax, Tyler. It's just a fucking game.
It's
like,
not just a game.
Come on,
don't
man.
Understand. You don't get to where you are in life if you just treat it as a game, Ty. That's the thing. Yes, you made your professional living out of not making it a game because you took shit seriously.
Literally.
It's important.
Absolutely, dude.
And my partner will do everything in her power to stop me winning because she knows how much it crushes me, because I fucking love the win so bad. And so she'll actively be the person that goes, I think I'm going to put the knight on Chris's or6. How about that? And I'm like, motherfucker, I love you so much, but I hate you right now. It's hard. But yes, in terms of like that listening to yourself, I'm super self-critical. I'm just super competitive with myself because I just want to be better all the time. And so I'm listening to stuff going, man, if I just had another take at that, I would do it again. But that being said, there are still moments where I'm like, yeah, that wasn't shit, Chris, and I can kind of live in it. The main thing for me was just like enjoying everyone else's performances. And the amount of like, I think the reason why the game spoke to a lot of people is that there's some really just banging performances from like proverbial side characters who feel like rich and full and whole. Do you know what I mean? Yes,
I cared about every character in that game.
Yes,
I cared about every single character in that game from start to finish. There wasn't a single person that I wasn't interested in. And like, dude, I don't know how they did it, but they absolutely nailed it. Like the cast in both English and in Japanese, like it was the game was flawless top to bottom from both ends, like from a voice actor's perspective. It was like so emotional. And I don't know how the hell they did it, man. Like truly, because I play games all the time. And I just don't, it's very difficult to nail, dude. Do you think it had anything to do with everyone being in the same room or not? Because I know that it wasn't maybe everyone was in the same room all the time, but you just said you were with each other in the booth. Like that, did that like get you on your game? Did it like step up your,
there's
like playing off of them? Like,
I think there's a part of that, Ty. I think like part of it is like, doing some scenes with the actors, but do you know what? Like, and I think this is like in big sports franchises. I think like for me, sometimes you get this sometimes when you're in a play or a TV show. Like I was lucky enough to like play the tiniest part in Andor, but like you get a sense of like people are striving for like excellence at something. And with Final Fantasy 16, you could sense it from the writers, you could sense it from the director. Whenever you were with another actor, everyone was like sort of striving, like, guys, I think we want to try and make this like absolutely perfect. And they would also, obviously, because you're hearing the other actors' performances sometimes, even if they're not in the room, because they might play it in between your lines, or you might get to see a cut scene. And so you're like, I'm like, shit, whoever this actress is playing mid, she's crushing this right now, and I need to raise my game. And I think there was just like a culture of like excellence where everyone was just kind of like, okay, we all need to like rise to this. And that obviously starts with Ben. Like the guy just crushed it.
I don't think I feel like you're only okay. So I almost don't believe this in voice acting. People say you're only as strong as your weakest. I feel like when it comes to a video game, like if your lead role is like just the perfect voice actor for that role, I feel like it really can lift everyone up and literally carry everyone as well. And I think you're absolutely right that they got the guy to play the main character, to play Ben Clive, to play Clive. Ben Starr nailed it. Amen. I was so shocked too, by the way. Like I normally, like when I go and because I always do a playthrough first in Japanese, because I feel like that's literally, that's where Square Enix it's originated from. I know that they're going to knock that out of the park, but then I come back and I play it again in English, and I'm like, oh my God, I literally could have played this in English the first way through and it'd have been just as good from a voice acting perspective, which is, again, it's just rare. I mean, I don't know if you're into anime, but like,
yes,
dubbed is subtitles, or English subtitles. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. When you're actually, it's dubbed, not sub. It's very, very rare to find voice actors that just get you there emotionally and get you invested in the storyline and in the actual scene. But it happens, right? Like it's like the guy who plays Kakarot. I literally should know all these guys' names off the top of my head, but I don't. Vegeta, Goku, those guys, they kill it. They get you there, bro. And like you guys did that with Final Fantasy 16, and that's something that like you should be proud of. That's all.
Thank you, bro. I think a big part of that is the fact that we were like sort of like the English voice cast was weirdly sort of primary. Like it was our facial capture and stuff. They did a lot of their mocap in Japan, but I think that gave us a bit of an advantage. But I'm 100% with you. Like, if I watch a Studio Ghibli film, it has to be subtitled, because that rawness of emotion, you'll just never quite get it with an English cast. They'll be good, but it just won't quite be there. You're making me think that I should play 16 in Japanese now, and I might do that next time I'm back home.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it again, dude. I've already forgotten like the nitty bitty gritty stuff, and that's all I need to play through a game. Yeah, it's just 100%. To forget like that shit and to not know 100% what's gonna happen next. And I'm pumped, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man.
So you also did. By the way, I was not expecting to be on about this for 37 minutes. I did, but you also played. You did numerous roles for my brother's game of the year. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah,
so
man.
How did that experience differ from Final Fantasy 16?
So straight away being in the mocap suit is a different energy. You sort of like have a freedom when it's like just voice and face, where you can sort of like dick about and there's a freedom. You can kind of fail with your body a little bit. Whereas like obviously like doing Baldur's Gate 3 and like doing mocap and voice, that's an immediate like, oh, okay. This is like new. First time I'd ever done it. And like seeing that avatar of yourself and your body on the screen and immediately seeing like, oh shit, like my back is not straight and I slouch, and just seeing your natural body do its thing. But then I don't know, man. I kind of just felt like being back in theatre and someone going, okay, Chris. And I did everything in like a full big day. So I must be like 6 or 7 NPCs in the game. But like they were just like, right, dude, we're just going to... I think they knew, and I might have potentially have a little reputation from 16 that I work quite quickly. And that might be a good thing or a bad thing sometimes, because it means I'm just kind of serving shit but quickly. But like I work quite fast. And so I think like they were like, Chris can do this amount of work in this amount of time, right? So it's like a full, long day in Croydon, and I'm doing these NPCs, and it would just sort of be like, cool, next, you're a bartender, and this is your vibe, go. And then immediately thinking to yourself, right, what kind of physicality can I capture with this? What kind of vocal quality can I have? And then also...
So you were just ripping it.
I knew the characters I was going to play, and I was kind of like almost going through my file of facts and voices going, right, I can do that voice for that guy, but it sort of means I can't do anything similar for that guy. And you kind of like just try like this little maths puzzle. And so it's like, okay, Chris, you're an orc now, and you've just accidentally killed someone, and we're going to record. And it's like, shit, okay, let's go. And so you're kind of like drawing on like all your experiences from like theatre school of like different like archetypes of physicality and stuff, but then just really testing your vocal range. You, dear listener, apologies, but obviously you'll have heard my voice is naturally quite highly set. And so like to like work hard to like find those deeper ranges, it's like, it's tough work, but do you know what? Like some of the most fun, and I'll say this now, like I've been lucky enough to play some like really baller parts in theatre and stuff, and be like an act with some like really cool actors on screen. But doing video game acting is the most fun I've ever had in my life. There's like genuinely no question. No question.
I love to hear that, man. And I love that you have been able to, like, I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 was like, what, a year ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
16 the same. So, I mean, congrats, dude. You bumped back to back both of these things like relatively quickly, right? Like, or, you know, at least quick enough to just, you know, nail 2 video game roles. That's got to be, I mean, are you just like dying to get the next one, right? Like,
honestly, there's a part of me like, and this is like with any creative, right, or anyone that works in these kind of industries, you'll get this, but it's like, shit, man, have I just peaked? Like, is this it? Like, am I done now?
Man.
Have I had my moment? And it's like, it's just been patient. But I tell you something, I just cannot wait to like be back in a booth and like playing, because that's what it is, man. The job of a voice actor for video games is the job of a 10-year-old, right? Like, it's just imagination, like just throwing it out there and being like cool and free. And so like, if anyone listening to this has like a dream of becoming a voice actor, my biggest piece of advice is like, if you can go back and rediscover your 10-year-old sense of play, like that is the way to do it, man. That is the way to go for it. Like, get rid of those inhibitions and just be like ready to kind of like do some crazy voice shit. There's this quote from a guy called George Bernard Shaw, and he says, we don't stop playing because we grow old. No, hang on, let me get this the right way around. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. And I'm like, shit, that's how we become adults, right? Because we stop having fun. Do you know what I mean? That's how we kind of age.
Dude, I mean, dude, to even think about like when you're like kind of, you know, becoming a teenager, a young adult, and you do something stupid, or like, you know, they're like, people like, what's the first thing people say if you're acting like a fucking kid?
Grow up.
Grow up.
Grow
Dude. Grow up, dude. Like, how old are you? Fucking, and it's like, I think like dude, to find that perfect combination, you gotta do a little bit of both, dude. You gotta be like, because there's situations where you have to act like a fucking adult, but like there's, in my opinion, there is always time to play, man. There's always time to be a little bit goofy, and you know, I think I do a great job, and so does my wife, of like, you know, staying young and being fucking goofy. So, but dude, I actually really love that, man. I have a couple of voice acting things, like opportunities potentially coming up, not for video games, but like just in general. And like, I know the range of my voice and I know what I could do, but I am like so nervous of like someone being like, all right, and we're rolling, let's go. And like, give it, you know, and it's like some like really intense scene. And I haven't done an intense scene in my life before, essentially. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know it. I know I could do it because I do impressions of fucking people doing shit like this all the time. But like, when it's actually going to be my voice, not me impersonating someone or doing an impression of someone, and then I'm just like so nervous that they're going to be like, yeah, like that wasn't really it. That's not what we're looking for. Like, I feel like you just have to swallow so much fucking ego to do that, right? Like,
yeah.
Like you do, I'm assuming.
There's a million things in what you just said there that I'm like, oh my God, that it triggers. I'm going to like try and break them down super quick. But the first thing I think, and it's something, right? So I don't come from any money at all. And so when I got into theatre school, I had to like audition for like a scholarship where they legitimately gave me thousands and thousands of pounds to go to this theatre school, but I had to audition for it. And so I'm sat in this waiting room and there's this woman at the reception desk and I am shitting my pants. I'm so nervous about this thing, man. I'm dying inside. And this woman goes, are you okay? And I'm like, well, not really. You know, I've got this audition, blah, blah, blah. And she said something to me that just completely just like trimmed my balls from my body. She just said, well, you are not going to war, young man. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to war. I'm not a soldier. I'm not going to fight. I'm literally going to say some Shakespeare. And that's kind of it. Do you know what I mean? And so a part of it is going into that booth and going, I'm not going to war. But the other thing for me is, and it's kind of like the reverse, I was never scared of doing emotional scenes. I was scared of doing the scenes where there was loads of exposition, where I knew that I was going to be saying town names, cities that I've never heard of. Like, I know them now, but at the time, like, I was like, I don't know how to pronounce like Sambrek or whatever it might be. And I was always terrified of doing the kind of exposition lines and still sounding like a human. But I think, look, we just said grow up. So I guess my advice to you, Ty, would be grow down, right? Grow down, just chill out. You know what I mean? Just fucking chill and just be a kid again. Like, and whatever you need to do to get in that place, just grow down, bud. You'll be good. Honestly,
maybe I might just microdose a little bit, dude. Take some freaking, take half an edible and just not
tiny bit.
Yeah, just a little 2 milligrams, nothing crazy. Come down. Oh, yeah. All right.
But like, honestly, my first like 3 months, I worked on Final Fantasy for like over 4 years. My first 3 months, I was continuously shitting myself, honestly. I was continuously nervous all the time. So don't worry about it, is my advice.
Oh my God. I mean, I hope that, you know, it's always, for me, it's always like, I've done commercials. I've been on, you know, I've been in a couple of movies. And like very tiny parts, like 10 seconds, not even. And like, I'm always like, my biggest fear is wasting like other people's time by not getting it right. So like I've had, it hasn't happened yet, but like being there, they're like, all right, and action. And then like everyone nails it right. Boom. Here comes this guy's part first. He says this. And then you just like, my favorite thing is, and then they're like, cut. All right, Tyler, listen, you know, it's been 30 minutes, you know, we're trying to get this scene one time. Can you figure the fuck out? And like, if I can't figure it out, like, then it's like, oh my God, like that would be my worst nightmare in the world. It's like, all right, we got to find someone else, because this guy can't say 2 lines. But obviously I can say 2 lines.
It's the hardest part of being like on a film set, is if you're just a day player, if you're just there for one day to just do one little bit of stuff, like that's hard, man. Because like you say, like you haven't had the chance to kind of like, it's like having your first day of school, but everyone else has been at that school like the whole time. Do you know what I mean?
Holy shit, that's a great analogy.
But what I would probably say is if you have that worry, you'll probably be fine because it means you're working hard. Do you know what I mean? I think for me, the people that fuck that shit up, whether it's in a rehearsal room or on set, are the people that don't worry about that thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they don't worry about it, and therefore it's like Inside Out 2 is such a good sequel, man. But they nailed anxiety, and I think that's what it is, right? Like the character of anxiety is the thing that goes, you should probably worry about this. And I think if you're worried about it, you probably won't fuck up.
Oh, man, that's so good. I haven't seen Inside Out 2 yet, by the way. I got to. Oh, my God. We're going to go see some really freaking scary movie tonight with Nicolas Cage. Apparently, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No way.
Hang on. Do you watch scary movies?
I do. What would I say? Some of my like absolute all-time faves. I really loved like stuff like The Babadook and Midsommar and that kind of like more psychological kind of scary stuff. But I'm all up for just like an easy jump scare as well.
Oh, okay, I'm not even gonna get into that. We don't. Okay, actually, I have to. Have you seen Smile?
Oh my God, no! That fucking tube. So on the London Underground, that poster was everywhere, and I was like, "Nah, man, that looks too much for me." Is it worth watching?
Dude, listen. I love thrillers. Like, I will fuck with a thriller. It's awesome. I love thriller. Like, I'm a diehard thriller guy, right? Like, what was the one with Shia LaBeouf? It was The Girl Next Door, I think it was called, or something like that. Like, that was kind of like a really scary thriller. Well, not really scary, but that was a good thriller. That's kind of like my vibe. Dude, the Smile haunted me for like a month. Like, it was horrifying. They nailed it, in my opinion. Like, just the creepiness, the eeriness, the jump scares. It wasn't even the jump scares. Like, I almost felt like it could happen. Like, just like this curse that gets passed down when people say, and like that, like, I feel like for me, like, that is what will mess me up for life, or like will mess me up for a very long time, is like, if there is even like a 1% chance, or even a 0.1% chance that this could happen, or like this is real, you know, because there's unexplained deaths all the time, and like dude, like demonic possession is literally like the number one thing for me. Like, I will, if it, like any possession movie, I'm out. Like, I'm out. Like, there's too much.
So have you done The Exorcist? Have you watched the original?
Nope, absolutely not. I watched Exorcism of Emily Rose, and that was like my one that I watched, and I was like, I will never watch something like this again, bro. Like, that shit is like, it's too real. Like, there are legitimate, you know, stories about like, you know, based on a true story. Like, fuck that, dude. No way, can't do it. So this apparently is a thriller, and I'm going to see it tonight in like 2 hours. So
amazing, man. I bet you'll have a Nicolas Cage, man. Like, fair fucks to the guy. Like, his career, unbelievable. Like, I still remember Face Off when I was a kid. That John Travolta, Nick Cage film. Like, the guy, he always gives 100%, and sometimes that's to his detriment, but a lot of the time it's good stuff. You can't argue.
Right.
With the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card, you can earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases you want and purchases you need. That means you earn 2% cash rewards on what you want, like season tickets to watch your favorite team, and 2% cash rewards on what you need, like paying for parking. That's the beauty of the Active Cash Credit Card. It's ready when you are, with unlimited 2% cash rewards. The Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. That's real life ready. Terms apply. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/activecash.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. In fact, Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/podcast free. All lowercase, shopify.com/podcast free, shopify.com/podcast free.
All right, dude, Chris, we're down to our last 11 minutes here, man. So we're going to hop on over to the this or that segment and our final questions, man. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, dude, all right. All right, this or that, dude. Voice acting, stage acting, or screen acting?
Voice acting.
Oh, nice, dude. UK or US?
UK.
That's fair. Improvisation or rehearsing?
Oh, that's still improv. Yeah, improv.
Yeah, it's not. Acting isn't. Acting is reacting, right?
Yeah.
A huge sold-out crowd or a small, intimate venue?
That is hard. A huge sold-out crowd. Do you know what? It's less scary. It is less scary than
literally what Nina said. That's exactly what Nina said. That's crazy.
She's correct.
Yeah. Oh, let's go, dude. And she said it just like that too. She was like, "Oh, you know, it's got small massive crowd, crowd." Oh man,
I would rather play Wembley Stadium than like 100-seater venue. 1,000%. Yeah. I'd rather be Taylor Swift.
Yes, dude. I could. You know what, dude? I yeah, absolutely. Because you're. It's almost like you're being judged more.
Yeah.
By because there's less people, right?
You can see the whites of their eyes, man. You can see their judgment. You can see their judgment.
Oh, right. You just you're at it. You play for enough people, there's gonna be enough crowd to be like, woo, and you're just like, yeah, all right, I'm killing this. Crying scene or a stunt scene?
Oh, dude, right. I can cry on cue, but stunt scene all day. I love fight scenes, man. I love anything that includes combat. I'm all about that. Like, I used to train as a boxer, and for me, like anything that's like physical, I
hell
love
yeah,
it.
dude.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
that's sick. Yeah, crying scene for me would be. And by the way, that's amazing. How long did it take you to get that down? Like crying on cue?
Like as a kid, I just like figured, I can figure this thing out and make myself cry. So yeah,
Oh my God, that's sick.
If you ever needed to like fake an illness at school, it was the one.
I didn't like fake cry, but I was good at like if like my brothers would hit me, I could force up some tears. You know what I mean, dude? Like I can make
you were like
myself.
My youngest brother, man. This is what Thomas used to do. It's just like grass on us if we hit him.
I mean, listen, dude. I'm Thomas, dude. All right, like my older brothers would hit me. I'd go to my mom crying, and then I'd get him grounded from video games, and I'd get to play more.
Fuck.
Oh.
Yes, you are the annoying little brother. I'm the eldest of 4 boys. There's me, James, Simon, Thomas. We'd kick the shit out of Thomas, and then he'd go tell on us and cry. Nah, damn.
Oh man, dude. Listen, guilty as charged. He knew exactly what he was doing. Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert, yeah. Introvert
Really?
parts, but I definitely would say I'm more extrovert for sure, yeah.
Nice. All right. Moving on to our other questions, dude. What was your funniest audition experience?
Oh, this is good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I'll just go with one. But there was one that was like for an advert, and it was for like a credit card, and like you were supposed to like take your clothes off as if you were going to go swimming, and then hot mermaids were going to kind of like lure you into the water, and then one of them was going to steal your credit card. And I fucked this audition, man. But I was just like, this is ridiculous. And also just like, I don't know, like just something about getting like half naked in an audition anyway. And so I think like that is like try to mind like getting turned on by this mermaid while another mermaid is trying to like steal your credit card. Yeah, that sucks, man. I hated that audition. That was a bad one.
That's incredible, man. Oh my God, dude. Listen, if I'm ever in London, dude, we're getting a beer or we're hanging out because
100%. There's a really cool games bar where they have old retro arcade games and stuff, like proper old school stuff. We have to hit that up. We'll get Ben Starr in. We'll have a wicked time.
Hell yeah, man. All right, what is one thing Americans get wrong about British people?
Oh, good question. I think this has changed, but I think the idea that we were all sort of like Londoners and like regal somehow, that we all like knew the Queen. I feel that that's changed, but I think like that. But yeah, beyond that, I think you get us down like quite well. Like I don't think there's much that we're I think your conceptions about us are pretty spot on.
All right. I have to agree. What would you do if you forgot your whole monologue while on stage?
Oh man, I'd shit my pants. I would probably try to improvise something small. I do remember I did Richard III, man, and I came on stage and I had a pretty meaty monologue to another actor called Richard. After 4 lines, I completely dried up, forgot my lines, and the man, bless him, he just held me in his arms and he just said, "Take your time, take your time." And then that was it. I was good. So like, hope that there's an actor there to save me. But yeah, I'd just shit my pants and try and improvise something, I think.
Damn, that's clutch. Oh man. Brexit, good idea or not?
It was a terrible idea, Ty. It's one of the worst ideas we've had, and I think we can demonstrate that objectively through the amount of money that the British government and the UK as a whole has lost. It's a terrible idea. I also just like being part of something bigger. I know that sounds like weird, but I kind of just liked being European. It just felt like kind of cool. So yeah, that's my take. I had a lot of disagreements with my dad about that at the time, but we're all good. But yeah, I think it was a bad idea and remains a bad idea.
Well said. Well spoken. How do you know when your work is finished?
Oh, do you know what I sort of done? I'm a bad, like, I do a lot of script writing. So, like, I've written a lot of plays that have, like, gone out in town and stuff and kind of, like, had some success. I'm sort of bad for, like, letting it go. So even if it's on stage and we're a couple of shows in, there might be something I want to change. So to be perfectly honest, my answer is I don't know it's finished. I always want to change it.
Yeah. Yeah, that usually seems to be pretty much the general consensus of a lot of actors that I asked this question to, and musicians and artists and everything else. So, all right, Chris, we have 2 final questions, and we ask these questions to all of our guests. If you had to delete all but 3 applications from your phone, which ones would you keep? And these have to be downloaded, so not
dude. Oh,
notepad.
That's a really good question, man. Okay, so WhatsApp I'd have to keep.
Okay.
Just because it's how I communicate with everybody. I think I could survive without that. So I would keep WhatsApp, I would keep Instagram, and I would. So I'm guessing like Safari is chill. I can keep Safari. That's in there. So I get that. So yeah. So WhatsApp. Oh my days. WhatsApp. I'm actually having like a little kind of like nervous breakdown here at this. Like even just the concept of the question.
This is it. This is the last.
I got you. It's WhatsApp, it's Instagram, and then it's an app called Flash Score that comes up with the sports scores like automatically. So like you can keep up with the football results. So Flash Score would be my last one. And then I would probably just like fall apart because I don't have any of my banking apps.
No banking apps, no food delivery, no music.
Yeah. Oh, but I use Apple Music and it's pre-downloaded. So like, do I still get that?
All right. Yeah, you got it. Yep.
Sick. Okay, I'm happy with that.
All right, final question. Final question, man. This podcast is called AFK with Ninja. AFK, of course, stands for away from keyboard. But what do you do when you're AFK? How do you get away from it all?
I love, this is the saddest thing a man has ever said to another man. I just love running. So I literally just go long distance running all the time. And that's kind of like how I unwind. It's kind of my therapy, if I'm honest, like just long distance running, kind of having that little battle with your internal monologue where he goes, dude, maybe you should fucking stop running right now. And I go, nah, I should keep going. Right. I've been training for this thing with my mate called High Rocks, which is this ridiculous event where you've got to do like 8 kilometers. And after each kilometer, do this like crazy exercise, like pushing a really heavy sled or doing a rowing machine. So we're going to die in December 1st. Me and my friend Gareth will die doing this High Rocks, but I love the training for it. And running and like exercise is kind of, that's my freedom. And if it's not that, it's sort of just like playing computer games with my friends online, I would say. That's my AFK time.
Hell yeah, man. First off, 2 great answers. Second, I'll be giving you all the energy in the world. I'll be lifting my arms up with a little spirit bomb on December 1st for your little marathon, because I can't do long distance running. I don't even run. I walk. I'm trying to get 10,000 steps in a day lately, just walking. That's good. Man, it's annoying is what it is.
I think that's a US UK difference for sure. We walk everywhere.
Yeah, no, we don't. I feel like everything's really close. Okay, not really close, but Anyways, I somehow walked like 4 miles. I didn't know I golfed today from 7 a.m. to 10, and I have an Oura ring on. And I've never worn an Oura ring out while I golf, and it tracks your steps. I walked 4 miles while golfing 18 holes. I had no idea I took that because I'm driving a cart around, dude. You know what I mean?
Sneaky steps, but that's good, Tyson. Sneaky,
exactly. She need to golf every day. I just tell my wife, honey.
You'll get your handicap down and you'll get your steps in.
And there you have it, folks. We've reached the end of another epic AFK with Ninja episode. If you've enjoyed the journey thus far, please consider leaving a rating, review, and hitting that follow button. We have a ton of incredible guests coming your way, and I want you to be the first to know when a new episode drops. Until next time, catch you soon.
It's AFK with Ninja. Ninja's got a show. It's AFK with Ninja, the best podcast in the world.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. With the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers. In fact, Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/podcastfree. All lowercase, shopify.com/podcastfree, shopify.com/podcastfree.